Welcome, Dr. James Beckett, Sports Card Insights. I'm here with Victor Roman. We're going to talk about a project that he has taken that is similar to something that I'm doing, and we want to compare and contrast that. I'm going to let him describe what he's doing, and then I'm going to give my opinion of what works for me, and hopefully collectors and dealers and interested people can find something of value in that. But first, thanks sponsors: Heritage Auctions, Huggins Scott Auctions, Burbank Sports Cards, Mike Stadium Sports Cards, ComC.com, Beckett Media, Beckett Rating, Beckett Authentication, and Panini, Upper Deck, and Topps. Victor, you've got a really great way that you're collecting. It's similar to what I'm doing. I think mine is a little bit broader, but you have a multi-sport approach to getting rookie cards. And just tell us about that, how that came about, and again, what reception you get from people that see it either in real life or digitally, because it sounded really cool when you described it and when I saw it online, some of the stuff.
Yeah, Jim, I came back into the hobby in 2014 after a 10-year hiatus, but I came back and I started to shop for certain players, Javier Baez, Nolan Arenado, that sort of thing. And as I was shopping for these players, I noticed that I found everything on eBay anyways was considered a rookie card. And I started to notice even insert cards had the RC identifier on it. And I know from back in collecting, back in the 80s or back in the 90s, inserts were not considered a rookie card. And then there was the element of prospects. And I had a lot of confusion when I came back into the hobby as to what's a rookie card, what's a prospect card, what's an insert, why is everything a rookie card? So I started to dig in, and what I started to find is if I went online to find a certain player's cards, all I was really finding was the top 10 most expensive or the best cards to get. Well, what about the collector who wants to collect all of their rookie cards? What about the collector who can't afford the 10 most expensive rookie cards? And so I really began to research, and I found what I felt was a need in the hobby. And so I created a website in 2016 called alltimegreats.blog, which really focused on my passion of collecting rookie cards of Hall of Famers. And in that, I write a short little essay on that player because I think it's important to know why we want to collect a certain player. What did they accomplish in their career? And I can tell you, when I learn about a player's history, it really inspires me to collect their cards. And so I do a short little essay on that player, and then I begin to list their official rookie cards. And
I've seen that, and I'm just curious because I think people can go there, but how do you choose? Are these players, these retired players in many cases, choosing you? Are they coming across your radar? Are you finding a card and thinking this would be a nice addition? What's the initial movement there? Is it somebody that you saw play? Because there's hundreds of guys in each of the Hall of Fames,
right,
or sports you're covering. So what's your sequence, I guess?
That is basically, Jim, that's inspiration. Whatever inspires me at the time, it could be my goodness, I'm drawing a blank here. The inspiration, Jim, comes from either what's happening in the hobby or what perhaps a death may have occurred, and that really inspires me to look into their life and career. It could be just somebody I've always been interested in, and I know it goes against what you like collecting, Jim. But I like collecting. I'm a big PSA set registry guy, and in those set registries, there's Hall of Fame rookie card set registries. So that's really where I really collect, and whatever I'm collecting, that's what I like to write about as well.
Is that heavy on Topps?
Sure. Yeah.
Within baseball?
Yes. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. I think that sounds reasonable. And like I said, I love the fact that you're drawing in the bio of the player and all that stuff. Again, the point I was going to make that's maybe different than what I'm doing and what you're doing, because I've got a wall of fame. And I think what I'm doing is primarily for guests. I've got 1,000 players from all the different sports, and they're not all my favorites as much as they're people that I think my friends would like. So are you other-centered or me-centered? Are these guys that you like and that you're hoping your friends would like, or are they like me? I'm getting cards. There's a few of the guys I don't even that are, again, mostly Hall of Famers, but I don't limit mine to Hall of Famers. But I'm dealing with 1,000, and I think you're dealing with a smaller number.
Yeah, I'm dealing
with that much. Eventually,
Yeah, eventually, Jim, I'd like to have it to be like a database of rookie cards of Hall of Famers and have them all. It's just a matter of time just getting there.
it's a matter of money too. Are you limiting to? Are you PSA only, and are you PSA 10 only, or what are your requirements there?
Yeah, I'm PSA only, and it basically comes down to, okay, where am I at on this registry? Who do I need next? And what is my budget for that card? So if it's a 10 or if it's a 3, that's where I'm at.
It wouldn't surprise you that I won't say I don't care if something's a 10 or a 3, because I'd love it to be higher, but a lot of the cards are cards that I've had for a long time. And again, not a surprise, my grader of choice is BGS, and so I have these holders. So my displays are built around the size of the BGS slab. So is your presentation mainly digital, or do you have a home presentation that's a physical layout like I have?
I do not have a physical layout yet, Jim, but I am working on that. So it's mostly digital for now. And that's, yeah.
When I did my display, I originally started it out of doing all the baseball and then all the basketball and all the football and all the hockey and alphabetizing, which I think is what you're doing essentially. But over time, as people came and visited, I just got the feeling after seeing enough people that couldn't find what they were looking for or weren't. It's like going to the old Blockbuster Video and browsing for something that's interesting. I wound up alphabetizing all the players regardless of sport. So you could have Andre the Giant next to Hank Aaron.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be exactly next to each other, but you get my point. I've got some wrestling in there. I've got golf in there. I've got tennis. And I got mostly baseball, but a lot of basketball, a lot of football, a lot of hockey. But the other, not necessarily minor sports, but minor collecting sports. So why did you stop with just the 4 sports? I've got auto racing. I've got
most passionate about budgetary reasons.
Do you get most of your cards by trading, or do you get most of your cards by buying?
I would say buying, Jim. I do a lot of submissions, PSA submissions, and when I do card shows and that sort of thing, that's when I do my shopping. I'm also I've had the opportunity to buy some pretty nice collections, and through that, then I do my submissions that way. It takes a long time, just where we're at, but it's building it slowly but surely. It's one of them things where the genre of collecting that I do, I understand that it's a lifetime thing. It's a marathon and it's not a sprint. And so I just piece it little by little, one card at a time, one step at a time.
I know, but all those sound additive. Is there any subtraction element to it? I was doing a show a while back, and one of my guests saw a card on my wall, and he'll know who I'm talking about. He wanted it. And he said, why don't you? And he was willing to trade, make me a good trade. And I said, no, once it's on the wall, it's part of my presentation. He said, yeah, but I'd really make it worth your while. So once it goes into do you upgrade? Do you trade? Because like I said, mine is, once it's stuck.
Yeah, I don't do a lot of trading, Jim. And I really, once it's in the registry and I make my notations in the registry, that's it.
Do you do the registry more as a record keeping thing, or are you a very competitive person where you're trying to move your way up the list?
Yeah, that's a great question, Jim. And I am not in it as far as the competitiveness and the ranking and all that. I really do the theme, and I also like the checklist, and that's what I'm more after.
Okay. And again, so if you're driven by that, then that's the nature of that registry. The multi rookie card, or there one for each sport?
There's one for each sport, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you mentioned that there, in some instances, for whatever reason, you would go to a second card, but that wouldn't apply to the registry, would it?
No, it doesn't, Jim. It's just something that in my articles, I include those because a lot of times collectors are priced out of a certain rookie card, and I don't want a collector to get discouraged, or I could never afford that card. There's also an option that you can have for a second-year card, or even in the case of a Nolan Ryan, a third-year card, which are still very collectible, desirable cards within the hobby. So I also...
Acceptable in the registry?
No, this is just in my website on my article for that featured player. I will include not only the rookie card, but I also include second and sometimes even third year cards.
In between some of these multiplayer cards where the receiver, Ryan, some of these guys are sharing, whereas the second card, they've perhaps got a rookie trophy or some other distinction that merits their own card.
I do make that distinction on my articles because a lot of times those are some beautiful second year cards.
Absolutely.
Oh my goodness, with the trophy and all of that. Yeah, definitely.
And what other collecting is that your primary thrust in terms of your collecting and your presentation? You're dealing a little bit, but your collection, that's your primary expression of your collection. Is that correct?
That is correct. As far as primary, I'm a Hall of Fame collector, Jim. I like all things Hall of Fame. Primarily, though, I enjoy the rookie cards, but I also I love refractors and relics and all of that. All things Hall of Famer, of course.
Okay. What about one of the things I did, and some of them are on the wall that is behind me right now that you can see, but I hate to tantalize listeners. It's not fair. But some of those are rookie cards that are personally autographed. They don't say to Jim, but they're autographed by the player after the fact. And they've been authenticated and all that stuff. But is that of interest to you? Or that's superfluous because it's not factored into the registry?
Yeah, that has a lot of interest to me as well, Jim. When I have the opportunity, I will, especially at big event card shows like the National and that sort of thing, I will get rookie cards signed of certain Hall of Famers. I have Juan Marichal and Raleigh Fingers and that sort of thing. Love autographed rookie cards for sure. But it's not the primary thrust of my collecting. No.
More and more of the players now, the players that are out there are charging more to autograph their rookie card. They're aware that there's increased demand. And I just know in simpler days when I was just a collector and I sent off for autographs, I didn't send off rookie cards to be autographed. In fact, I didn't even send off cards. I sent off cards that were maybe not in perfect condition and just looked like they had a background. These are 50s or 60s cards, 70s cards maybe, that would handle an autograph and look good. And so now, like I said, the player he sees you coming if you're holding up a rookie card and want to get it signed. The other thing is when somebody has a huge number of rookie cards, how do you make that choice? Is it just by the registry, or do you?
It's basically I follow the checklist of the registry, and you have certain players, Jim, that have LeBron James 63 rookie cards. My goodness, I know an article I'm working on here recently. Albert Pujols is another one who has multiple rookie cards, but that is the checklist that I like to use. Is what's in the registry.
That's a good note to finish on, Victor. I love what you're doing. I wish I could restrict it to that, but the cards that are in the almanacs, and a lot of those are my cards. And when people come over and see my stuff, I believe, I could be wrong, but if you came over, you probably wouldn't want to see cards that you already see normally. You'd want to see cards that you haven't seen that are more unusual. So I'm leaning, toward that way to give some eclectic cards that would be the more unusual. But my hat's off to you. I think that's what a lot of people do, and it sounds like you're doing it well and having a great time, and that's what the hobby's for, to enjoy it. So,
yep.
Victor Roman, thank you for being my guest. Thank you, listeners, and we'll be back again tomorrow with another interesting episode. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim.